Hey, everybody. Welcome into a little bit early edition here of the Pattison Ave Phanatics Show. We host Tom Kelly here with Mike Fuji, my man Damon Salim, and Mike's got a special guest that he wants to talk about. Mike, I'll work the behind the scenes with the posters and everything while you guys kind of got to go over what Joe has going on here.
All right. Hey, Joe. Dave.
Hey, Mike. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for coming on.
Great.
Just wanted to promote your Toys for Tots this Saturday, and you're doing it in Cherry Hill from 4 o'clock to 7:30.
Yes.
Can you just touch on what'll be going on and where you're having?
Yeah, absolutely. So this year I decided to do it out of my house. I usually do it out front of the shop on Frankfurt Ave, but this year I kind of wanted to go a little bit, extreme.
Right.
So I decided to bring it over to the house. We're going to be having pictures from 4 to 7:30. Santa Claus should be here roughly right about 4 o'clock. The United States Marines will be on location collecting donations for the Toys for Tots as well. And, every year is usually a really good turnout. In the past, I did motorcycle rides. This year is not going to be a motorcycle ride. It's just simply just going to be, just getting the community together, having fun, seeing all the smiling faces. And I just left an event on Saturday over at my buddy's place in Cherry Hill, and it was a great time. So it should be, this one should definitely be one for the record books for sure.
How many people do you believe you may be
So in the past, I mean, in the past, we always had around 100. I don't know what it's going to be like this year because I've been blasting out on all different of the neighborhood websites, like Facebook and community websites, and trying to get the word out as much as I can. So, but this year we definitely went like crazy with decorations and buying different things. And today we just bought and put together Santa sleigh and 4 different reindeer. That's going to be actually the props for pictures with Santa.
So do you want anybody like bringing toys to bring them wrapped or unwrapped or?
Yeah. So basically for the Toys for Tots, all the toys or gifts can be unwrapped. Right now I was talking to Jen earlier, actually over the weekend, and she said that they are looking for ages 8 to 11 for boys and girls, and it can be any types of gifts, but that's definitely the one that's filling a little bit of a void this year. There's not as many gifts as there were last time, so they want to make sure that they can fulfill as many orders as they can, and then go through that way. So definitely gifts are definitely welcome. Like I said, the Marines will be here on location. It can be a cash donation as well that can be given to the Marines. So that way it does go to the Toys for Tots. It goes to the direct spots. Gift cards are great too. Gift cards are a great thing to add. So then that way you can, they can give them out to a couple different kids to make sure that they all get something that they really want to get to as well. And it's just an awesome time. And this is very late. So like Toys for Tots basically picks up their boxes last week. So the fact that this is the 20th that they're allowing me to do it, it's a last minute push and trying to get in as much as we can, to help all different, communities and people. And, it's really awesome, man, seeing different kids smiling, it's a great time for sure.
No, definitely. Especially, everything's so expensive today and, for, hopefully every child to get something or at least a couple gifts.
Absolutely.
Way this economy is.
Absolutely, man. And, more importantly, just bringing back the holiday cheer and having a great time, letting people, just kind of forget about things for a little bit and just come out and have a great time and, enjoy and see all the different decorations and the music that's going to be going.
It's a great thing that you're doing here, Joe. Just so our viewers out there will know, the time's from 4 to 7:30. The address is 42 North Syracuse Drive, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And in the notes here, it says, please be mindful that it's a residential neighborhood. I guess that means driving and parking, be respectful when you're parking and when you're driving through the neighborhood. It's pet friendly as well. All pets are welcome. So just bring a new unwrapped gift for the Toys for Tots collection. And again, Joe was also saying you can bring gift cards as well if that's something you want to do. I think it's a great thing you guys are doing, Joe.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, guys.
Joe, I
really appreciate it too.
No problem. Actually, Mama Ringo and I are having Gail Saunders from 4th and John on Wednesday night, so I was going to ask if you want to hop back on just to get the word out, just like this.
For sure.
Minutes before 8 o'clock this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll put it out and share it out on.
Absolutely, man.
Facebook.
I love it.
Anytime, bro. Well,
I appreciate you guys, and if anybody, even if you guys can't make it, that's fine. If you guys want to, spread the word to other family and friends, everybody's welcome. It's open to the public. It should be a great time. We're trying to get the Grinch to come out. Buddy the Elf might be coming out as well. So, hopefully a couple other special guests.
I know you did mention when I was getting my haircut last week that you said you might have the Eagles game.
Oh, yes.
Be on.
That's the other thing. Yes. I'll actually have that on a projection screen on the house.
I don't know.
So that way it's going to grab some other people's attentions driving by as well. So, I kind of pull out all the stops. I'm like an entertainment guy. So
hey,
I like doing it all.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
For sure.
Well, Joe, I want to thank you for coming on. I'll get you back on Wednesday night like I said, with Mom Marengo and myself.
Okay,
same
great.
Time, about quarter of 10 of 8.
Yep.
So
sounds great, man. Thank you guys so much, man. Go Eagles.
You're welcome. Go Birds.
All the best, man.
Go
Nice
Birds.
Yep.
All right.
See you, Joe.
All right. See you.
Oh, my God.
Shout echoes heavy, sharp as a fight. Alan steady with the facts, sharp and true. Fuji's fire breaks the calm, splits it in two. Pattison Ave where the wild hearts run. Talking sports, games, battles, lost and won. Voices rise, break chains, ignite the flame. Fanatic thunder echoing the name.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Pattison Ave Phanatics Show. I'm your host, Tom Kelly. With me, as always, Mike Fuji in the building.
What's up? Happy Victory Monday. Birds would have definitely an ass whipping that they should have put on the Raiders.
You know it. And my man, one of the OG Pattison Ave Fanatics. You may recognize his voice from your radio airwaves if you drive through the Philadelphia area. Damon Salim. Damon from Philly. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, TK? What's going on, Mike? Thanks for having me. Happy Monday, man. Happy Victory Monday.
Yes, sir. Victory Monday. Haven't been able to say that in a few weeks. Oh, my goodness. It's
almost been a month now.
Yeah.
It's been rough out here in these streets, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Because every one of us, every Eagles fan knows. And Alan works at UPS. It is peak season, so there's that. If he may or not be able to make it in tonight, we completely understand. Hopefully we can get him in here. But if not, we totally understand. But it's my phone. That was the last 3 weeks. We got stand-up comedians all over the place, messaging me, asking me if I'm all right, giving me a hard time. So it's been rough out there. Now listen, I understand that it was the 2-11 Las Vegas Raiders. I get it. I do. But that was as complete a victory as you're going to. Here we go. Look, there's my favorite producer chiming in, laughing at me already. There he is. It's rough out here in these streets. I know that they are now 2-12, the Las Vegas Raiders. That was a pretty complete victory, regardless of who you were playing. It's hard to get victories quite like that in the NFL.
Well, that's a lot coming from a man with a team that's way out of the playoff picture. And we're talking about those fraudulent Washington Commanders.
Ooh. Yeah.
So Fuji, I know you were down there yesterday. What was the atmosphere like down there? Because at first going into the game, I heard a lot of seats weren't filled right away. Was that people waiting to get into the stadium, hanging at the tailgate a little longer than normal, or what was going on down there?
Probably just because the wind was so brutal, especially in that stadium. It's like a wind tunnel just sitting in there. It's not like the old vet, where it was. You had your places you could hide.
Yeah.
It's true.
It was, I'm sure some people stayed back and had some hot toddies or whatever just to warm up or,
what have you.
Very different Fuji this week. No one calling for every player and coach to hand their checks back in. You're not gonna get off easy when you make magnanimous statements on this show, Michael Fuji.
It is true. I'm gonna call it like it is. I mean, we're Philly, aren't we? Paychecks this time of year should be revoked and given to charity, especially like Toys for Tots.
Oh, I like that segue right there.
Why not?
Guys, the guy's a professional, folks.
Well, seriously, when you suck and you stink up the joint, you suck.
That's true. That's true. No, and you absolutely should be called out on your nonsense for sure.
I mean,
go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, people, especially now, you're paying $500 a seat to go to, season ticket holders like Alan and myself and everybody out there in Eagles Nation. I mean, you're not giving to a damn charity here. I mean,
sometimes it feels that way.
Yeah.
Well, and by the way, Farzy will be on by 8:10.
All right, good. I'm looking forward to picking Farzy's brain. I was checking him out on the post game show a little bit. So, Dane, what was your take on yesterday's game?
Man, it was a team that I've been waiting to see all year. What I mean by that is the defense has been stellar. Even those 3 weeks when the Eagles offense wasn't holding up their end of the bargain. Well, they blew the Cowboys lead, but yesterday again was what I've been waiting to see all year. You saw play action. You saw things that in terms of the offense, making second levels for Saquon. Just a lot of goodness going on, and you saw some mix of the play. Now the defense, I keep bringing that up because I actually tuned out sports talk for a couple of weeks. I had to because I think it was literally I was away with my family down in the Outer Banks area. It was a Chicago Bears game, and I got back to Philly. I was like, I'm not listening to anything because it would just got me even more ticked off. But I did critique them in a manner and then last week the LA Chargers game was just like, my goodness, I never seen Jalen play that bad. And for him to play like he did yesterday, I said it with some friends I shared a thread with. I said, Sports Talk Radio got their wish. They wanted Jalen benched and Tanner McKee to play. Well, it happened, so everyone should be happy, right? But all for the better reason, because here's the thing, man. And and Food just said something with Philly fans, but I think we have to start thinking a little differently. What I mean is, in any sport, in any team, I never count out the champ, and I'm not changing. They're the champs, and they're going to figure this thing out. They're too good. They're too good offensively. I know people bench Jalen. We're not going to win. My brother said just get in the playoffs. We're not going to do anything. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying it. And yesterday was a wake-up.
Yeah, for sure. We had two folks checking in here on the text board here. Ryan Neff, it was the Raiders. Calm down. It came with a Surgeon General warning that we understand that this was the Las Vegas Raiders. And I understand that it's going to be everybody's go-to. It was Kenny Pickett quarterback. I get it. I get everything here. Brian Garrity checking in, took care of a team the way they should have taken care of them. I'm nowhere near back to feeling comfortable. I second that 110%. And Vinny Alessi checking in, stout podcast. Love watching. Keep going. It's so awesome. It looks like even a Commanders fan is watching. Go Birds. Thank you, Vin. And there's Norm checking in. Vinny, our favorite Italian taxidermist. Yes, sir. Up here in Schuylkill County. Yes, I understand. I get it. They should have won yesterday. They should have done exactly what they did yesterday. It was nice to see them do what they were supposed to do when they haven't necessarily done what they were supposed to do over the last few weeks prior. So I'll take that. Fuj, what was the I don't mean the physical air temperature. What was the temperature down there pre-game and then as kickoff started? Was there some tension? I feel like this was one of those instances where is Fuji's hair still frozen? I feel like it's one of those instances where the crowd might be a little uneasy at first until things got rolling.
Well, I mean, the Eagles just came out and everybody's started to ease up and being, freezing your ass off and whatnot. But, you played a complete game again against the Raiders. All right. But, I mean, my thing is, to you guys, how do you build off this going into Washington this Saturday?
It's true. It's true. I'll kick it to Dame in a second here. I do think that this it was a get back game. It was a get right game. Mm-hmm. Everybody watching it thought so. But if you're going against another backup quarterback this week, you have an opportunity to another. Not that you need any kind of wins over Washington. I mean, they're having a rough year with injuries and everything like that. Everybody knows that. But Brian Garrity checking. It's still way too many running plays where the O-line is being manhandled. That's something that I did notice yesterday too. It would be nice to see a little continuity there. I've been calling for it all year long. But Dave, what are your thoughts for these Birds and getting geared up here for a divisional opponent? What are you thinking coming into this week?
Yeah, you can't take them lightly. They're a divisional opponent, no matter who's behind center, no matter what the circumstance of that team is. It's just the way it is. It's always been like this since watching the Eagles, Washington, Dallas, Giants since I was a kid. I go back to when St. Louis was in the division. That's how far I go back. But when you think about to Fuji's point, how do you build off of it? You build off it when the coaching staff, they have to build off. Well, Vic Fangio, he's been solid, and he's got I was not too excited about BG coming back, but man, he shut me up real quick. So he's figuring out how to use him. And Jalen Phillips is then doing this thing, man. So yeah, you just stay consistent. The defense and the offense build off of that. Jalen, get the ball out like you did yesterday, and go and actually you should actually beat them up like you beat up the Raiders. Yeah, you should.
I think it was a great move putting BG at tackle. Because he's still strong as an ox.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have that outside. He doesn't have that outside edge anymore, which understandably so.
Right.
But it was really, really refreshing to see BG get a couple sacks yesterday.
How about that? Yeah.
Fuge, how was the place yesterday after that happened?
Oh, place erupted. I mean, just to see BG coming back just within the last month, making it was like BG-esque all over again.
Yeah.
From little reminiscing there, and just looking at the total net yards, and I'll point this out to Farzy because he made a good point about this morning, that the last time the Eagles held a team to 75 yards was the old Chicago Cardinals, and that's dating back to 1955.
Yes, sir.
They just I missed that. They only had 75, and I watched the game. How did I miss that? They only had 75 yards.
The backups in the what was it? I saw a stat where it said something to the effect of the backups in the fourth quarter had more yards than the entire Las Vegas team for the entire game, 79 yards to 75 yards, and that was from your backup players in the last quarter there.
Huh.
Well, another thing too is they cut back on the penalties, which only had 3 penalties for 35 yards as well.
Yeah,
I mean it was Kenny Pickett. It's not like you were, not like Jim Plunkett was back there for the Raiders. You know what I mean?
but it goes back to, again, as far as Foods makes a great question, raises a great point. Excuse me. How do you build off of that? And so they were starving for any type of win, no matter who it was. So, those losses, they hurt. They on many levels, because at this point, I don't know if you're going to get the number 1 seed, which is okay, fine, whatever. I think that for this team and how they roll, this point moving forward, we can't take any more losses. I know who's coming up after this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Be a tough opponent.
You can't look over the Commanders. You just
but
can't.
You can't look over the Commanders because
it's a divisional opponent. And
you want to come out of that. You want to leave out of there healthy. That's the thing about those divisional games. You want to leave out of there healthy.
Absolutely. Ryan Neff jumped back on again, said, run the football, ain't rocket science. Barkley needs to be the first option. I think we can all be in agreement on that one. But it was nice to see Tank Bigsby get some touches yesterday.
I like to see him get more touches.
Yeah, me too.
I like to see him. Someone just posted about the O-line, right? So when he's going up the middle, when Barkley's hitting the middle, it's a wall. Tank finds a way to get through. So just to mix it up a little bit. The other thing that you saw yesterday, and I believe he's been waiting. I think he's going to start more. Jalen's ran the ball a lot more yesterday, which really opens up some things for everybody.
Exactly. I remember when McNabb went through his "I'm not going to run the football" phase, and I was praying to God that this wasn't the beginning of the Jalen Hurts I want to be known for my arm, how Donovan did phase. Where it's like, no. Your legs are what makes you special. You know, your arm, and there's a lot of things, but like that dual threat, ability is what makes you special. Tony Cotillo checking in on the text board. What's up, boys? 2 things for me: no turnovers and not an abundance of penalties. They look more disciplined to me. Yes, like they paid. Like in practice this week, Tony, and check out my man Tony and Tom Arnone over there on A2D Radio. These guys are always doing big things over on A2D Radio. Got a lot of love for those boys over there. But it was like they fine-tuned it and paid attention to detail. It was almost like they were getting away from paying attention to detail the last few weeks. And things were kind of slipping through, and you were almost – it was like it was enough to just walk in the door on name and merit alone. And we all know it doesn't work that way in the NFL, or for the most part, most major sports. It doesn't work that way. And the last few weeks, they kind of they've seen that, and we've seen that in their play. So, but it was nice to get the win, to get back in the win column.
Absolutely.
So, Dame, I started doing something a little different a couple of weeks ago. So you know me as a meticulous show prepper. Yeah. I'm very anal with my show prepping. But I started, actually, I'm going to save this for our guest who's jumping on here. I hope I'm not putting him on the spot too fast. But ladies and gentlemen, joining us from the Farzy show and the Verizon post-game show, Marc Farzetta jumping on with us. Farzy!
Oh, my, it's way too fast. I didn't even have time to warm up. I usually do stretches in the green room. I usually take a half-mile jog around just to get the blood going.
Some tea with lemon to get get the voice ready to
go. Mi, so, fa, la, ti, do. That's okay. Now I'm ready. All right. What's going on, boys?
One of our favorite guests here on the Pattison Ave Phanatics Show, Marc Farzetta, jumping in. Good to see you, Farzy.
Coming on.
How's it feel to get a win back under the belt, kind of get back in the win column with this team? How is the post game show? We have a clip from you guys that I'll throw up here in a little bit, but what was the temperature on set there? So to speak.
The temperature was satisfied. Like if there's such a thing, like
right.
Like when you deal with a guy like Seth Joyner, who's of all the people you could talk to in the former player category, he's the realest of the real. He doesn't. Who cares? It was the Raiders. Like I hate to break the news to some people. The 72 Dolphins weren't available yesterday. Okay, so they had to play the team that was in front of them. That happened to be the worst team in football, the Vegas Raiders, and the Eagles did exactly what they should have done. The main point, and Seth echoed this as well, but. How many times, fellas, when we watch a Philadelphia team, let's just keep it there, and they play down to an opponent where they lose, or they play down to an opponent and we're hearing in the locker room after the game, well, the other team, they get paid too. Like, oh, I thought this was a charitable act. Thank you. They got paid too, and they just, they did it where we found a way to win. And that's all that matters. We got W. The hell, that's not all that matters. And here's what I love about some of the guys on this team, and Jalen Hurts is one of them. Nakobe Dean, I heard talking about it as well. I know a lot of fans in the comments and whatever, they'll talk about, it was only the Raiders, or so what, they won, that kind of thing. Like, especially after a game where the Eagles play terrible, but they win. I like to refer to those as moral losses. Thank you very much. But in games like that, people are like, who cares? They won. No, that's not what it's about. It's about watching a game and watching that team that you root for, that you love, that you hope can win a Super Bowl again, about watching that game and saying, if they play like that at the Super Bowl level, the playoff level, when it matters most, are they going to win? That is what you call a standard. Obviously, Jalen Hurts is a big part of that. But then I heard Nakobe Dean just yesterday in the locker room after the game talking about the same thing. It's like, no, it's not just about winning. It's also about the standard. Like, if you play terrible and you happen to win, great. But if you have to play to a standard and win at the same time. That's really what it's about. And that's what some people just don't get. When I watch a game, when Seth watches a game, Gunnar watches a game, and then we come back and we have our post-game reactions, we're not like, all right, everybody, they won, so nothing to talk about. There's 90 minutes. Like, no, there are things that you can always critique. There are also things that you look at it and go, all right, well, if they are playing that playoff game, maybe you do see a guy like Lane Johnson out there. Maybe you do see a guy like Jalen Carter out there on the defensive line, whatever. But you grade it based on the standard, not just bottom line, they beat the Raiders.
Absolutely. Farzy, let me ask you a question here. Who is Jason Alexander Hurts 2025? Who is this man that we see? Because I don't know, last week was really, really a tough watch. Yes, I had to actually Google his middle name, mind you.
I honestly don't know who you're talking about.
Did I say Jason? I meant Jay. I'm sorry.
I was like, is this a George Costanza play on Jalen Hurts?
No. His middle name is Alexander, but I think I said Jason. I'm looking through my notes here. But who is Jalen Alexander Hurts?
Jalen divided amongst itself, Jerry, cannot stand. It's not a lie if you believe it. Who is Jalen Alexander Hurts? Is that what you're asking me?
Yes.
He is the greatest quarterback in the Super Bowl era of the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, Jalen Hurts is your franchise Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP quarterback.
So it's tough. It's tough for me when I see how he played against the Chargers, and then he comes back this week. It's been really hard to get a read on him this season.
Yeah. He just went through a really bad 5-game stretch where the offense went through a really bad 5-game stretch. And it's, I believe, the lowest point total in that 5-game stretch since the last year of Andy Reid in Philadelphia. So let's go way back when, Jalen, like, it ain't going to be pretty. It ain't always going to be puppy dogs and ice cream. All right. It's not always going to be the best thing in the world. But what really is astonishing to me, and it really does go back to this Chargers game. This guy had 4 turnovers, right? And almost 5 turnovers and almost 7 turnovers in total. Like, there was the dropped interception, and then there was he got hit as he threw, so it was incomplete a split second earlier, and we're talking about being a fumble, So he played like, let's call it ass. He was straight ass in that game. In this game where he was horrifically terrible, he was on the 17-yard line in overtime about to win the game. Like, think about that for a second. As terrible as that was, they were still into. Now, granted, that's a huge hat tip to the defense more than anything. But as bad as this guy is, he can still be right there in position to win a game. Not as bad as he is. As bad as he can be. Panthers game last year. Fuji, I know you've heard me say this a million times. But the Panthers game last year, again, straight cheeks. I remember watching that game and being like, man, Jalen was terrible. But I also remember listening to Jordan Mailata after that game being like, oh, we didn't know our assignments. And I was like, wait, what? And then I also remember Devontae Smith not being on the same page as Jalen Hurts, despite clear communication in the pre-snap read. Like, it was wild. And then I went back and I watched it and I thought about it a little bit more. And I went, wait a minute, hold on a second. In the worst game I've seen Jalen Hurts play all year, he had 3 touchdowns. Like, let me think about it. He's so terrible. He threw for 2 touchdowns, ran for another. Like, it's an odd thing where, yeah, we're going to critique him. We're always going to, hold the quarterback with more responsibility and more blame and more praise, really, than anybody. But here's the one thing I can say about Jalen Hurts. He's going to figure it out. You could look at a 10-3 football team that fired their defensive coordinator and Sean Desai and went with Matt Patricia, technically fired them as a play caller and went with Matt Patricia. That shows you that a lot of other things were going wrong. So I look at this year that did, especially just until this Raiders game, have a lot of similarities to the 2023 team. And I look at it and I go, that's interesting. A lot of bad things going on that aren't just Jalen. So I mean, I watch the film on every game. And it really helps me get a good feel for where the offensive line is at, where Saquon Barkley's at, play design, situational play calling and decision making by the head coach, of course. And I've come away with there are way too many problems on this football team for it just to be Jalen Hurts, and also for Jalen Hurts to be the biggest piece of the pie. So I watch that and I go, yeah, this Eagles team's got a lot to work on, and Jalen Hurts is certainly one of them. But the one magical thing that a quarterback can do, and I've said this about quarterbacks forever, I said it about Carson Wentz, Donovan McNabb, when everything else around you is going terrible, you have the ability and, quite frankly, the opportunity to be the deodorant. Now, not all deodorant covers all stank, as we know, but you do have that opportunity because, look, everyone wants to talk about final say. Jalen Hurts is the one with the final say. He might not have the play call, but he's got the check down. He's got the audible. He's got that kind of where the ball's going to go. He's got that decision. So I look at Jalen Hurts. I see the greatest quarterback we've ever had in the Super Bowl era, and certainly, factually speaking, he is the only franchise Super Bowl winning quarterback the Eagles have ever had. Because as we know, unfortunately, Nick Foles wasn't the franchise guy, but certainly a Super Bowl winning quarterback. But Jalen Hurts is a returning two-time conference champion, one-time Super Bowl champion quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, who also happens to be the franchise guy. That's who Jason Alexander is.
Right. I definitely think my mind played a Jason Alexander trick on me when I was looking at that in my notes there. On the post-game show, a very interesting stat line was brought up yesterday. Mike Fuji actually asked me if I could pull this video up, so here it is real quick.
Absolutely dominated this one. In other words, doing exactly what a Super Bowl championship team should do against a team like the Las Vegas Raiders. And I'll say 31-0. I'll say starters out with 13 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. That's exactly what you should do against a team like this.
I mean, the Eagles had 384 total yards on offense today.
This is from NFL.com. Eagles allowed the fewest yards by any defense this season. The 75 yards they allowed against the Raiders today, including an average of just 1 yard per drop back. Absolutely.
Now, I heard a stat where our backups had more yards. What was it in the fourth quarter than they had in the entire game? In 79 yards, 75 yards.
Quite possibly.
I think
backups. They had 10 minutes. They had they had like 13. Well, yeah, they had about 13 minutes to play. Holy pots and pans. Their final drive was like over 10 minutes, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Mark, you referenced something this morning on your show about this is the least amount of yards the Eagles gave up since 1955 against the Chicago Cardinals.
1955 against the Chicago Cardinals at Connie Mack Stadium. That is the last time the Eagles had 75 or fewer yards allowed in a game. 1955 Chicago Cardinals, Connie Mack Stadium. Two of those things don't exist anymore, gentlemen. And they haven't existed for quite some time. Look, again, going back to what Nakobe Dean was talking about. Actually, I'll tell you what, if you didn't hear this yet, Zach Bond talked about after the game. They asked him about, hey, did Vic Fangio come down and say anything about the shutout? And he was like, no. It's great defensive performance. You pitch a shutout. You allow 75 yards. That's it. The last time it actually happened in the NFL was 2023, if you can believe it. It was the Browns against the Cardinals, not the Chicago Cardinals, but the Arizona Cardinals now. Right. And I think Clayton Tooney was the quarterback. I might be wrong on that, but I think that was the quarterback for the Cardinals in that game. And they had 49 yards, I want to say, allowed in that one. But this defense, that is something we're celebrating. Like, I'll put it to you like this. For all the people to go back to it, for all the people to go back to the idea of, oh, it's the Raiders. Fine. Let's get in a time machine for a second. Go back to Saturday night even. And I say to you, the Eagles are going to stomp the Raiders. And you'll be like, yeah, that's probably right. That's exactly what they should do. And I'm like, it's going to be 31-0. And you're probably like, maybe not a shutout, but okay, all right. And then I'm like, okay, how about this one? They're going to allow no more than 75 yards of total offense. You're going to be like, all right, Homer, get out of here. That's too optimistic. And that's exactly what they did. So if that's exactly what they did, that is something absolutely worth celebrating because, yes, to go to the cliche, they do get paid too. They're another professional football team too. It wasn't Kenny Pickett's first start in the NFL ever, So for me, I think everything that the Eagles did from an offensive standpoint, good job. You did exactly what you were supposed to. From a defensive standpoint, you did what you were supposed to and more. And not only more, but on the historic side of things as well.
Mark, coming off this win, I mean, going into Washington, what's his name's done for Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
How do you build off this win and just to go into Washington Saturday with the remaining
going into the Raiders game, I said, going into the Raiders game, I'd called for basically this is a 4-game preseason at the end of the season. Okay.
Right.
You have the Raiders, you got the Commanders twice, and then you got the Bills. The Bills are obviously the one exception to all that. But now that the Commanders have essentially benched their starting quarterback and, he's had his injuries this year and all that, and Marcus Mariota being out there and all that, you have even more of an opportunity to stomp out the Commanders and get everything right before it matters most, before the postseason. Look, none of these games, unless the Eagles lose, none of these games are going to make people more confident in what they could do in the postseason. The only game that could really make them more confident is if they go into Buffalo and they handle their business against the Buffalo Bills. Just like they did 2 years ago when they were able to beat Buffalo in the pouring rain, and Jake Elliott made that, 58-yard field goal in the pouring rain, whatever it was. That was insane. And then Jalen Hurts in overtime scampered in for the game-winning 11-yard touchdown run. That's the only game that is going to make you feel like, okay, maybe this is a Super Bowl contender. They're a playoff team. They're a division winner. Back-to-back, first time in 20 years, whatever it's been. Excuse me. That's what they are. If they stomp the Bills, they just look good and do what they're supposed to do, and there are 2 games against the Commanders, this team's going to be poised for a huge run here that'll get a lot more people excited about what they could do with Super Bowl aspirations.
I know that we live in or are from a cynical town, but it feels like if 2023 never happened, we didn't have a collapse in 2023, would people's outlook on the 2025 season be different?
Yes, wholeheartedly. It's the reverse effect of the way Jalen Hurts answered the question about whether or not a Super Bowl championship made him more confident. It's like, yeah, of course. Like, the fact that I've done it before shows you that I can do it, that kind of thing. The fact that they fell apart before shows you that they could do it again. And, it's the same head coach, it's the same quarterback. You got a little bit more confidence, I would hope, in Vic Fangio than you did a Jonathan Gannon, or in that case, Sean Desai and Matt Patricia. I don't feel like the injuries are as big of a bite as you had in 2023. Or the big bite that you had in 2023. I think you're going to have it better when you have Jalen Carter coming back and Lane Johnson coming back. But the fact that everything fell apart and everything was looking good. But you know what? On top of that, the point differential is very similar at the time. The Eagles were not controlling victories. I believe the Eagles only had 2, maybe 3 before yesterday. Wins of 10 or more points. The year they fell apart in 2023, they only had, I believe, 2 wins by 10 or more points that entire year. The year they went to the Super Bowl, they had 6 of those wins. They had more of those wins last year. You got to be able to control games from start to finish. That's what good teams do. That's what great teams do. The Chiefs were very similar to that last year, where they just found ways to eke out wins throughout the season. Their day of reckoning came in the Super Bowl. The Eagles in 2023, they just found ways to win, eked out wins throughout the season. Their day of reckoning really came over 6 of 7 days to end the season. So, I think it's going to hang over a lot of people's heads, unfortunately, for a long time, the way 2023 ended.
Fuj, I don't know if you had anything else.
I was going to pass it over to Dame.
Yeah, hey Mark, how you doing,
Hey.
man? I just wanted to piggyback off of a couple of things. One, before you came on, and Food actually just alluded to how do they build off it, but you talked about the standard, and we know Jalen talks about the standard throughout his press conferences, particularly early on in the season. Going back to yesterday's game, we know the defense has played consistently well. I mean, they kept us in those 3 games that they lost in a row. With the defense playing it the way that they are, and then the offense showing a lot more life yesterday, is this one part of the standard that they're talking about? And two, how do they build off of that? You alluded to it, beating the Commanders, but also taking it to the Bills. Because for me, when they go on that nice winning streak, which is now, it leads to great things.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Dame, for me, it comes down to kind of the question of their identity. What I loved about that 2022 team, they had no true identity. Last year, they were obviously a running team. That was their identity. They had one of the best defenses in the NFL. That was also part of their identity. The only identity that matters is whether or not you're a winner or you're a loser. Those are the only ones that matter. Things are going to change. Like, look at the Eagles Super Bowl championship in 2017, 2018. They had one of the best defenses in the NFL, but they got torched by Brady in the Super Bowl, as we all know, right?
Yeah.
So they had to adapt, and all of a sudden, Nick Foles became that guy. People were talking about Nate Sudfeld going into the playoffs.
I remember.
They were like, good God, man. Like, identity to me, there are certain things that I think as non-NFL players, I think a lot of media people, a lot of fans buy into. One is identity. One is like the idea of a trap game, a letdown game, all that kind of thing. And really, the only people that really know how to identify any of those things, truly identify those things, what the real identity is and all that, are the players in the locker room. And these players, they just want to win. And hearing Nakobe Dean talk about what that identity is, hearing Nakobe Dean talk about what that standard is, that lets me know that, or even Jalen Hurts talking about after this game, it was good to help out the defense. Like, it was good to, hold up our end of the bargain, and this wasn't a 3-0 win,
Yes.
These guys are looking out for one another because they know one day it's going to be the defense getting their bell rung by the offense. That could be Josh Allen in 2 weeks. I don't know. It could be the offense just sputtering again, and the defense has to try to get a 13-10 win. These guys pick each other up. Both units pick each other up, and they have nothing but undying support for the other. The only identity, the only standard I care about is this team keeps on winning and keeps on doing their job, to use that old phrase that I know Seth loves to bring out from time to time, Dave.
Cool.
Speaking of Seth Joyner, real quick, one more before I let you go. What is it like sitting across from him on the post-game show when your football opinion differs from his? Is there an intent now? You're a professional sportscaster. This is what you do. I understand that you have to stand behind your beliefs and your opinions. That's got to be a little intimidating sitting across from some Seth Joyner.
So years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, I don't know, whatever it was. I was working at NBC Sports Philadelphia. I was just coming off hosting a show called the 700 Level Show, which was like a wacky covering of sports. It wasn't exactly.
I remember that.
Yeah, it wasn't like straight journalism by any means. I was dressed as a leprechaun in one episode, but anyway, they say to me, "Hey, you're going to host." I didn't even know what my assignment was going to be for football season with NBC just yet. And they go, "Hey, you're going to host. You're going to do your pregame stuff, but then." You're going to host Endgame, which was essentially the post-game show. You're going to do that with Barrett Brooks, who was like my guy. We were friends, fine. And Seth Joyner. And I was like, say what now? I was, and I've told Seth this. He probably didn't even need me to say it. Probably he could smell my feet. But he just I realized very early on, I was growing up in this area, what Seth Joyner is. Now I was getting to know who Seth Joyner is. And it took two shows, and they were like 30-minute shows to realize, this guy just just act like you didn't grow up here. Act like you haven't known who Seth Joyner was your whole life. Forget about him pulling bodies apart in the body bag game. Forget about all that. Just he wants you to be a professional. That's all he wants. Just do your job. Just play defensive tackle in front of me and play it well. I'll do it. Play D end in front of me and play it well. Play safety for me. Play it well. I'm on his team now. Be a professional. And then after those 2 episodes, where I feel like I did okay, I just started to really get to know the guy, and he's just a good dude. Yes, he is intense about football. Yes, he's intense about his opinions. But I don't want to work with somebody who doesn't give a damn. I'm a passionate person. Okay, I'm not putting myself at the NFL Seth Joyner level, but just how I live my life, I'm a very passionate person. All right, I come from a passionate people. When it comes to Seth, he just wants me to be as passionate about what we're doing as he's passionate about it. And if I was to ever be like, Jalen Hurts was terrible this game, and then he's like, I thought he was great, I'd be like, yeah, but I mean, he was great too. I wouldn't be sitting next to him. And again, this is a relationship. Yeah, exactly. This is like a relationship 8 years, and I've known Gunner for 20 years.
Right.
And one of the reasons I've been able to work so well with Gunner, like, they don't want anyone that is just going to tell them how smart they are. Yeah. If I was ever to cower to his opinion, he'd be like, we would go to break, or he might even tell me on the air. Knowing Seth, he'd probably tell me on the air. Like, dude, what are you doing? If you feel that way, you back it up. It's like that scene in Goodfellas when Spider gets shot, only I don't get shot. You know what I mean? You get the respect around the table with that imminent danger. That imminent danger is still there when you're in that studio. But he's great, and I'll tell you this. When people ask me about him all the time, I always say, you don't understand how good a Merrill and Mike impression he does. So there you go.
Awesome.
People are blown away to hear that. Yeah.
That's how I still listen. Real quick, if I can ask Mark one question real quick.
Hey, go ahead.
Mark, you talked about Super Bowl contenders. I share with TK and Mark and Foods, no matter what the sport, no matter what team, I never count out the champ. And I'm not counting out the Birds. They're the champs, and I know that we may not get the number 1 seed, fine. Going into this, and you alluded to a little bit, something you're looking for to see that if they're Super Bowl contenders. But with the way they're playing, with what we know they are, particularly with the talent they have, can you see them doing some damage moving forward in the playoffs?
I absolutely could. Whether or not I'm betting on it right now, no. There has been too long of drags. There's been too long of struggle. I need to see some kind of sustained success where they crack the code. Hey, look, I'll tell you, in the Chargers game, I don't want to sound like Micah Parsons, like forget about the scoreboard and all that. Forget about the touchdown, or forget about the turnovers. I liked the scheme. I like the idea of trying to throw the ball a little bit more, not 40 times, but I like them having Jalen Hurts throw over the middle of the field more. It did not result. You didn't get the result that you wanted, but you could tell Nick Sirianni has had his fingerprints on this more over the last 2 games than he has all season long, and that was desperately needed. And I'm not looking at Nick Sirianni to be some genius, but hey, Kevin Patullo, those shovel passes that worked against Tampa earlier in the season, how about you bring them back a little bit, okay? that fake tush push that also worked against Tampa, how about you go back to it for a second? It's little things like that aren't major sweep. I don't need Bill Walsh. God forbid, I don't need the first year of Chip Kelly. I just need someone to be like, hey, that stuff that we did well, maybe we should do it. Hey, great idea. That's all I need. And Nick Sirianni is, I think, good enough a coach, an offensive mind to at least pull those out.
Cool, thanks.
That's quality, some quality insight there, Farzy. We always appreciate you coming on, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you for my Freudian slip with the Jalen Jason Alexander.
That was so great.
That was pretty good. I'll take it on the chin every now and then. Can't be perfect.
But you want to be my latex salesman.
Yes, sir. Vandalay industry.
You be good, boys. Enjoy the rest of the
Mark,
season.
Thanks for Marc Farzetta.
Go Birds,
brother.
Go Birds.
Marc Farzetta jumping on with us. And Alan Angelcavitz back in the building. It's a late night out there for your local UPS men and women.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tis the season, guys. Tis the season.
How many
stops? Killing Browns and everything. I just jumped right on.
How many stops today, Alan?
It came out to 363 with my apartments. There's 340 in the board. It came out to 363.
What time did you start,
It was 400 some odd pieces. Yeah, it was a busy day. Busy day.
What time did you start?
Was that?
What time did you start?
We started at 8:15. Punched out at 8:01, and I rolled.
You remember what 300 stops would do to us on FedEx Ave, Al?
Oh my goodness gracious, dude!
We'd still be out there until midnight.
Yeah, we would have been. I did dude. The crazy thing is, right, in our FedEx days, to do that many stops, we do a couple hundred miles, right? I did 63 miles today.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's like each street you got 40 stops on there.
Yeah. And my route's 7 miles from the building.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? And it's like, dude, 15 minutes down the road, I'm hitting stuff.
The anxiety kicks in. I want to be done. I'm so, it's all.
So we were talking. So you and Fuji got together yesterday at the game.
Yeah. Met Fuji down there, man. We had a good time.
How was it? Good? Did you locked in any coolers or anything like that, or what?
No, I didn't get locked in any coolers.
Alan met Mama Ringo.
Oh, okay, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, got to meet Mama Ringo, some of Fuji's people down there. It was good. It was a good time.
That was
awesome. Good stuff. So we went over going over the game yesterday and kind of what we were seeing, and so I'll kick it to you since I didn't get a chance to talk to you earlier, and we're running out of time here. I know you tried to get on here before we got done here, but so what was your takeaway? What was your takeaway from yesterday, Al?
The no turnovers. The no turnovers is big to me. I think there's, we all know the Raiders are not a very good team. But after the couple of weeks that we've had, we needed a game like this, where a tune-up game, because the Commanders, they're no joke. They're not having a good season this year, but they're not a no joke. You know what I mean? They're not a joke team. Got to play them twice in the next 3 weeks. But the turnovers, no turnovers was huge.
Very true. Very true. So, as you guys know, Damon, I meant to get into this with Mark, but kind of got sidetracked. So again, you know me, you know how I am, very meticulous with my show prep. I decided that this week and the last time we did a show, I allowed ChatGPT to do my show prep for me. I have AI generated show prep. I didn't do any of it, and it was very hard for me to do this because I have notebooks and notebooks and notebooks and stacks of notes. And then I finally, this year, I finally came around to using the notes in my phone and typing it in so I could just have it sitting up here. But,
there you go.
So here's one of the Chat GPT questions. That ask, how concerning are these reoccurring offensive line injuries moving forward, and can the current unit maintain this level of play? So, Damon, I'll let you answer that one since a computer generated that question, not your boy.
Concerning, well, unfortunately, it's been the constant all year. I mean, one guy comes in, somebody goes out. One guy goes out, somebody comes. It's been a constant. What you hope for moving forward is that Lane comes back healthy to finish out. That Landon, his knee holds up, and they can establish some type of continuity moving to the playoffs, because Mark touched upon it on Farzetta, and he's right. These are the preseason games of the playoffs. You're in playoff mode.
Right.
Allen touched upon it with that, again, going against the Commanders. My thing is we need to stay healthy. I think we're going to beat them. I think we can beat them handily, but you got to stay healthy. So, yeah, for me with the O-line, TK, consistency, getting healthy bodies back, and really, really maintaining the nucleus so we can get this nice playoff run going.
Yep.
So, Alan, I'll kick this one to you. Given previous offensive struggles, did this game demonstrate the offense has corrected its issues, or is it more consistency needed against tougher competition?
I think there's still room for improvement. It was a tune-up game. They looked good. They played well. They gave up the fewest amount of yards since 19 something. You know what I mean?
33. Chicago.
55.
Cardinals.
55.
55 against the Chicago
55.
Cardinals.
It was double something. I was 20 years old. Anyway, 22
There
years
you
old.
go. Yeah. So, yeah, I think we got to see if they can continue this. It was great to see it yesterday. I just got to see it consistently.
Yeah.
And Fuge, I'll hit you with this one. Is this defensive performance a sign that Vic Fangio's unit has finally hit its stride, or is it simply a reflection of the Raiders' 2-11 record?
I mean, I think the defense has been fine. I mean, they've been carrying this unit. Since the Kobe Dean came back, week 5, week 6, guys have been playing lights out.
And Foods, can I add? Since they got Phillips too, Phillips has been really good. Alan, you guys are there. He's tapped. He's hitting the arms, deflecting. Oh, what a good pickup, man!
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
BG with 2 sacks in the first half. I mean, where BG come from?
They didn't throw the Quinyon side yesterday. Quinyon got no action. You know who's been playing well too on the defense is Jackson. Jackson's been playing good.
Corey Jackson.
Yeah, he's been playing okay, man. He's been starting to play a little bit better. I like him.
Yeah, we need that.
Played really good last week against the Chargers.
Yeah.
So he left the game with that injury.
It's good. It's good. It promotes secondary depth when you can see players like that stepping up and doing what needs to be done in order to get these games finished. I don't think any of us are going to be content. Even if they smack Washington next week, again, Marcus Mariota is not Jaden Daniels, and Jaden Daniels wasn't even Jaden Daniels this year prior to his injuries. It was a sophomore slump, and it happens. It happens. They get tape on you, and then it's difficult. But Marcus Mariota is a journeyman, travels from team to team at this point. We kind of know what he is. None of us are going to be satisfied until we see him against Buffalo and we see how they look against another playoff team. Because that's the only playoff team left out of their last 3 games, and I'm hoping you can get a little bit more momentum, build a little bit more steam, rolling downhill against Washington, smack Buffalo, win. Maybe you win the next 2 games, sit your starters in the final game of the season.
Well,
they need one more win, right, in order to clinch.
Yeah, because
one more win. One more win and Dallas lost.
Dallas lost.
Yeah. So my question for Fuji and Allen now, to TK's point, are we talking about playoff positioning? Because with the Rams winning yesterday, they kind of got a couple of games on us, right? So
yeah, we're going to be stuck at either 2 or 3, most likely 3. To be honest,
like 3. You're thinking, Allen? Okay.
Yeah, because Seattle's even 11 and whatever they are. You know what I mean?
But isn't it like if whoever wins the division gets bumped up? Like, does it go in that order? Even despite the record, isn't it like the division winner?
Yeah,
just the highest seed under one.
Yeah. Then I think it comes down to conference because the Eagles own the tiebreaker on the Rams. If the Bears have it on the Eagles,
that's why that Bears loss is huge, man.
Yep.
Because they beat everybody else. They beat the Rams. They beat the Vikings. They beat the Lions.
Yep.
The Packers. Yeah.
And they beat the Packers. Yeah, Food. Yeah, how about that? I forgot. It's like that one game could separate you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could bump us at 3. That one game could keep us at 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right, let's go predictions before we get out of here, boys. Let's go predictions against the Washington Commanders for this week. Damon Salim jumping on with us, one of my OG Pattison Ave Fanatics. Man, I'll start with you, my friend.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. This has been fun. I'm going to go. Whoa. They just won 31-zip. I like a 33. The Commanders 15. 33-15.
I like it. Fooch, guy, you're next. What was your prediction going to be?
I was going to say 33-13.
Oh, wow. Okay, Fooch, I like that.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
You're right in my mind.
Get a field goal at the end.
Alan and Jakavich, what are we thinking here?
I'm gonna go. Man, I'd like another 30 spot, but I'm gonna go 28-14 Birds.
So Alan got me too. It's a divisional game. It's a little tougher. It's I do think they come out on the winning end, but I'm going to say 27-17 Birds on Sunday. I don't think it'll be a blowout. I don't think it'll be a
30 camp. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to get that high score. But listen, Damon, thank you so much for jumping on with us this week. Alan, look, man, thank you for out there helping out Santa Claus, dude. We appreciate you very much for all you do.
Be safe out there, Alan.
Yes, sir.
So
that's number one.
Number one is safety. So for Alan Angelcavage, for Mike Fuji, for my man Damon Salim, I'm Tom Kelly. This is Pattison Ave Phanatics Show. We're out. Thanks, Marc Farzetta.
Yes, Mark.